Hello, I'm Brennan Perring of Print 7 News, and I've been out at Harrier LLC today to see its Argos UV coater being put through its paces and finding out why it's such a pivotal technology for this business. A key issue with the technology of UV coating has traditionally been its metal halide lamp systems. Unreliable UV coating, open operation, safety concerns, emission controls, power consumption, and really consistency of the product and its overall quality. But Argos seems to really have ticked all of the boxes with its LED UV system, and Harrier LLC says it's been very pleased with the results.
My name's James Belton. I started with Harrier LLC in 2005, initially working within corporate development, and over the years that's manifested and changed to my current role, which is the Operational Planning and Solutions Manager for the business. I've been doing that for about 8 years now here. And that role involves the sourcing, justification, installation and implementation of workflows relating to machinery and capital expenditure. I think initially when I joined the business it was an analogue film business. I joined the business as we started to make the transition into digital. One of my roles in 2005 for the first Christmas here was to manage the outsourced suppliers who had an Indigo. So over those years the biggest changes have been the diversification into digital production, starting with one 5000 series Indigo up to the fleet we have now, and then expanding our production capabilities and our product ranges to we're up to about 2,500 SKUs now across 7 different print technologies. So we are a fulfiller of all types of personalised digital product as well as a trade commercial finisher. Initially we bought laminators like a lot of people did, and they're very good for what they're required for. We use them for our book covers, things like that. We made the decision to move to UV coating in about 2006 initially. That choice was based on 2 things. One was a requirement to give a gloss finish to a calendar, which was one of the brand's demands to us. They wanted to do this to allow an upsell. And as we grew our product portfolio, it became more and more required within the business. They then wanted greeting cards, they wanted those to be a glossier finish. We had a relationship for a period with Hallmark, who drove a lot of our development within the card area. They were very keen on the shiny finish as such. The UV coatings as a whole has developed over the years. So we started out with one particular UV coater that was designed just to do heavyweight substrates. We then expanded that into the greeting cards and the calendars at different weights of substrate. So then you're needing something that can handle lower. And then the big thing for us and what very much drove the Argos was the introduction of an upsell gloss page on books. So we went to look for a coater that would make coating book pages easier. The problem with a hot UV coater, a hot lamp, is that it's hot and it remains a little bit tacky and sticky, so you've got to turn it over. At that time nobody had an automatic turning unit, or if they did it was very, well, not quite there yet, I think is the way of putting it. So we started looking into cold UV lamp systems that would allow us to turn that sheet immediately and feed it back through, and at the time Argos met the requirements of what we needed. The other big thing for the Argos was it was a small footprint. We are a factory and a business that was growing very quickly and diversifying very quickly, and floor space was important, and the Argos allowed us to get the right output per hour for the right square footage used on the shop floor. So we're mainly using it at the moment for a number of different things. It's very versatile. So we are running book pages on it. We're also running greeting cards on it. It is heavily used on greeting cards. Because it's cold lamp, you don't get the yellowing that you can get. We use it for commercial print as required, and we use it for coating of covers for the calendars in the peak season. Obviously calendars for everybody is kind of a 12-week season, and you just get out as many as you can, and we need something that will run 24/7, and in peak season that's what it does. I think whether or not it was a rise or fall of UV coating from what we saw it as a business, it was far more about whether or not it was the right thing to do for our products. We have brands that are very picky about the ecological consequences of things. And what the Argos allowed us to do was to reduce the amount of oil that we laid down on a sheet, and also allowed us to go out into the market and use particular types of oil that were more environmentally friendly. I was speaking downstairs, we use the same oil now across all 3 coaters, but we change the way it's delivered to the machinery to make it work for the machine. So you have an excellent oil for its environmental properties going in. Is it still perfect? I don't think it ever will be. But certainly the Argos and the cold system allowed us to make that move into a more environmentally friendly printer. It is a saving. We do require extraction on it, but that's not necessarily for the emissions from the oils. That's the way in which the particular early model of engine worked. It's more about the lamp heat than it is about taking the emissions away. It's a cold lamp system, but it has to generate heat to give that cold lamp, and you need to keep that away from the machine. So we have extraction in, but unlike traditional UV coaters, I don't necessarily need a pipe this big to draw from. I'm quite okay on a little standard pipe work, so it looks a little less like a Mario world down there.
Argos machines are really built with one aim: to create the world's safest UV coaters. The Argos coater is pretty much the only safe machine on the market using fully closed cold lamp technology. The Argos lamp has been developed with Duroic glass reflectors and quartz glass filters, which reduce ozone to a minimum and absorb IR radiation and enable cold lamp UV curing. Most UV lamps operate at an ambient paper temperature of around 200 degrees Celsius, the Argos lamp at about 25 degrees Celsius. The Argos lamp is European manufactured, completely closed paper path underneath, contains no mercury, filters at 100% infrared, uses less power than all other lamps, and therefore has a much longer lifespan than most other systems. Argos machines are built from 99% European parts with Siemens motors, the frames being built initially by a Belgian company in Slovakia. The range consists of 2 models, the L380 and F540. Like Renz machines, the number denotes metric width. Both machines have optional feeders and stackers which are built in Switzerland by Robert Barrer, Multigraph. Both machines can also be produced as duplex systems. 3 different types of coating finishing are available in gloss, matte and satin, and there are many variables of these depending on which print engine the work is coming from. The coatings are Belgian manufactured. And like Renz, the customer is not locked into an Argos toner. Wax-based toner prints, Canon, KM, MGI, Xerox 1000 and so on also require additionally infrared to cure the coating. The optional infrared lamps are German built. A bridge is also available as an option to connect the coater directly to the digital printer. All machines have a remote support diagnostic function built in, and all spares are readily available.
I think on cost per sheet, previously certainly for calendars, we were laminating, and when we did the cost comparison between one and the other, we were about 40% cheaper on UV coating. It has come closer over the past few years. Laminate foils have come down, UV coating oil cost has gone up. For the Argos, what we did to make sure that the cost remained constant and to get the best value from that is we worked with oil suppliers to find us a coating oil that we could use across all our coating systems, because we still do have heat coating systems as well. And what the Argos allowed us to do was to find an oil that could be controlled at a lower temperature, and then also to buy that in bulk, because we could modify the way in which the other machines worked to take that oil up to the temperatures they required it, and then allowed us to buy larger volumes of oil, and obviously volume equals reduction in prices. I must admit I'm not a fan of inline coating, mainly because our print capacity is all required, and if I have a coater go down that takes out my printer, then I have a problem. But I can understand people within certain industries who want to go that way at this point in time. Not saying I won't do it in the future, but it's normally a relatively standard bridge, which is applicable to most presses, whether that be HP, Xerox. There's not a great deal of technology involved in it. It is a driven bridge. We have the 380. Which is a machine that's now 5-6 years old. So within our running speeds of our presses now, if I put it in line, it would probably create a bottleneck. But the new systems from Argos will easily outstrip the run rates of the digital presses that we're talking about connecting to. So I can't see that would particularly be a problem. When you put the uptime of the Argos coater against the uptime of your digital press fleet, it will have a higher uptime. So it's the other way around. Your press might take out your coater rather than in reverse. I can't speak for other people. We get pretty good rates out of our presses, and at the moment I'm already considering whether or not a new Argos is something we want for this year. It will certainly be within the selection options that we look at. How do I find Renz? I worked with Renz for a very long time. Probably the second machine I ever bought for the business I got from Renz. I mean, dealing with them as a business has always been very good. They're fair on price, and you don't have to keep batting back and forth. The sales staff are very good. The support and the service is excellent. We have a number of different machines from Renz. We have the AP360 Punch, we have the P500, the Super 700, we have the Mobi, we have the Renz Inline 500. We choose to buy our wire from Renz because it works well with their machinery. The uptime across everything that they represent has always been very good. And when we need them to be here to solve a problem, they're here. And in our industry, where service level is king, we don't do late. We need suppliers that will help us achieve the no lates. It's not good if we have anything that doesn't make it out the door on time. So as a business overall, I've been very happy with them. They're also open to some of my mad ideas, because I will say I like that, but I don't want it to do that, I want it to do this. And it's nice to be able to have that relationship with a supplier.
Having spoken here to the guys at Harrier LLC, seen the machine in action and witnessed the developing relationship between Renz and Argos with this technology, it really seems the sky is the limit and will be helping many printers keeping a firm control of costs, improving the quality and productivity of their print operations for some many years to come.